Hi everyone. Okay, so today I thought what I would do is just talk about Mercury retrograde, just to assist anyone over the kind of coming month with anything that you might be kind of dealing with, or I feel like I want to say emotionally, but also understanding why you might be feeling like things are quite, I want to say, like highly charged. Okay. So what we are actually dealing with at the moment is we've got Mercury retrograde, which starts today, and I'll explain more about that in a moment. And we've also got a full moon today, if you're in the UK, which is the strawberry moon. And what happens, or tends to happen around the time of a full moon, is a lot of people can get very emotionally charged. They can feel quite drained. It can cause a lot of arguments. It's kind of a time where people are asked to kind of just like release, if they can, anything that's kind of been getting at them or coming up against them, just trying to ask you not to keep pushing against it, but to just kind of allow things to work out. It feels as though as well a lot of people might be going back on things in the past that they need to kind of revisit and kind of make peace with it, okay, or make friends with it even. So if this sounds like you, do carry on listening in. So I might do another video actually just on moon rituals if anyone's interested, um, about how you would release under the full moon. Okay, literally just by writing a letter and popping in it anything that you feel you're kind of done with and you're ready to kind of let the universe have, so that you can have like a clearer path and not be worrying about how to work out what you ought to be doing. So releasing it to the moon, basically, that's the kind of ritual that you'll be doing. So that's it in a nutshell for you anyway. Right, so you've got retrograde in Cancer that's happening right now, and that's going to happen until the 23rd of July. So quite a long time, really, a few weeks of sorting out that's going to be happening for a lot of people. There's going to be, like I said, emotional wounds that might come up that need to be healed for some people. Possibly miscommunication, that tends to happen a lot around the Mercury retrograde time. As in, you might send an email, it might not go to where you expected it to go to, or you might not even get there at all. Texts might be a bit weird. Technology will be really weird. You might be trying to use your phone and you can't actually get it to do what it would normally do, or even something like what I'm doing. I could record all of this, get to the end of it, and it's not actually recorded it, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that's not going to happen. When you are aware of these things though, it does kind of make you think twice about what you're doing during a Mercury retrograde period. So if you're aware that there might be trouble with your technology, instead of getting angry with it when it does kind of flip out, you kind of sit back and you just think, okay, I know what this is, I'll come back to it in an hour. I'll just go and have a cuppa, and then I'll come back and have another look. Sometimes that's all we need as well. We just need the pause. And I feel like that's what Mercury retrograde is trying to force everyone to kind of do at this moment, is to sit back a little bit and to rest and recover. Not keep repeating maybe old lessons or things that kind of hurt them in the past, as in if they're feeling that they've got like a grudge, maybe still pushing up against certain people or certain things, instead of kind of sitting back and, like I said earlier on, trying to make a little bit more peace with that. Even releasing something like that under the full moon is very powerful. So if there's something that, or somebody who's been kind of in your energy for far too long, and you just feel like you need to release that, or you need to kind of cut the ties a little bit, or even not have them or thoughts of them in your energy so much, definitely use that as your moon ritual for this month. Again, I feel like I want to say, maybe look it up for yourself, find out how you can do it in a way that is healthy for you. Okay, do a little bit of your own research on this on the internet if you feel drawn to doing that kind of a cleanse for yourself. Okay, so going back to the retrograde period, I just feel like you've got to process it, to release it, and then to heal it. Okay, and like I said, there could be some quite big things that have been stuck in your energy for quite a long time, and because of this, it is going to feel a little bit for some of you like quite gut wrenching. Maybe you might feel like, you know, there's like a big shift that's got to happen, but you might feel like you're not ready for it. The universe is kind of quite good at, if you don't deal with something, it will throw a curveball in and it will start sorting it out for you. And that's kind of when it starts to feel a little bit more uncomfortable for some people, when they actually haven't looked at what they really need to be shifting in their life. Sometimes as well, like, the universe will come in and shift it, and I want to say, like, every time really, we can look at it in a way that it's bad, okay, because we're used to holding on to things, feeling like we're in our comfort zone, when it's not actually comfortable anymore. It's quite uncomfortable, it's quite exhausting. So the universe does come in if we're not actually, you know, doing the work, and it will pull things away from us and just say, you're not supposed to be doing that anymore. Come on, you look over this way. Look at the opportunities that I'm sending in. Stop ignoring them. Stop blocking them out. You know, stop saying, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. There are things that keep maybe coming round in repeating in circles that you're probably noticing they're there, but you're just like pushing them to one side every time, putting other things in front of that. So definitely that could be a thing for some of you that you need to focus on. Start looking at ways in which you can move forward without holding on so tightly to what was, and allow what needs to be to come in and happen. There might be like historical triggers for some of you. Like I said, there could be like past traumas maybe that you've gone through, or people from the past that might even pop back in just to kind of test you or test the waters. So those kind of things might resurface for you. It does feel like as well it is going to be more based around like your home and living circumstances. Okay, how safe you feel even in your own home, and you know, the people and that you've got around you, or you've got put in place, or even the people that are around you that shouldn't perhaps be around you as much, could well be coming up to give you a bit more of a tap on the shoulder to say, we need to sort this out. Come on, let's not just keep on leaving it, brushing it under the carpet. This really needs to be sorted. I want to say texts as well. If there are people that you're texting, be aware that you're like, I want to say, you're not in full contact when you're texting. So if you're speaking to somebody face to face, it's a lot easier to not kind of miscommunicate, if that makes sense, because you're seeing their emotional expressions, you're sensing whether they're actually in a happy mood or a sad mood or whatever. Text, it's really difficult to kind of grasp the full emotional feeling of what they're trying to put across. Okay, it can feel cold sometimes, even though the person writing it isn't actually wanting to put it across like that. You might be reading it in that way. Again, I want to say with that, we kind of see the world how we are, if that makes sense. So if you're feeling a bit down or a bit annoyed or whatever, however you interact with the world is kind of what's going to come back to you because of how you're feeling, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm describing this a bit weird. So it's kind of like a mirror is what I want to say. So yeah, if you are feeling like that, you might find that people who come in front of you could be mirroring back to you the same sort of feeling or emotion. So maybe check in on yourself if that's what you're coming up against. You know, people who are a little bit angry or I don't know, emotional even. Just they could be showing you where you need to be healing as well. The kind of trauma that you've got inside, if they're triggering you. And that's what I want to say. Make sure that you understand it's a trigger, and that trigger is asking you to look inside yourself and think, they're not the person that needs to change, this is me. I need to figure out why that upsets me when they speak about that, or when they, you know, or how they kind of react to whatever. I feel like you just need to work on that for yourself and figure your way around that. Ask yourself, why does it make me angry? Why does it make me emotional? Why am I taking things so personally even? Should it even really matter? Should I be taking things personally? What other people say and do is their business, their problem. Do you know what I mean? I can just kind of now learn to kind of release that, have a bit more peace, and let it kind of roll off my shoulders and not take on all that weight of other people's opinions even, or even what other people are doing that you may be thinking is there to annoy you or upset you. Just kind of take a step back and just think to yourself, I think a lot of these people maybe are still sleeping and they're unaware, whereas you're probably a lot more awake, you're a lot more in tune, and probably a lot more in tune as well with the fact that you just want peace and quiet and kind interactions with people. And because of that, that's how you're learning within yourself not to overreact, not to kind of put that onto other people anymore, like spilling out your own emotions, and being aware of that and knowing that you've been through the same or similar and you're actually more aware of it now, is where you can be a little bit more compassionate with some people, understanding like they're actually not awake yet. You know, they don't know, they haven't got the tools that I've learned now to kind of learn how to not get angry or annoyed or upset or overreact. So be aware of that as well. Take a pause if you do get flared up or somebody makes you angry, and think before you actually react. Take a bit of time to just process what actually happened and how you need to move forward, and deal with that situation with whoever it is or whatever it is that's gone on. Because again, that pause is what's going to kind of diffuse a lot of the problems, whereas in the past you might have just gone straight back and caused this big clash to happen, and that's what you don't want really, especially if you want a peaceful life. So also want to say, speak openly and honestly to people, especially if they're annoying you. You don't have to be nasty back, but you can actually just say quite confidently, I don't particularly like how you spoke to me then, and until you can come in on more of a calm level and more of an adult type of conversation, then I'm just going to retreat and I'm going to leave that with you and let you sit and think about that and keep it nice and calm. No like argumentative or causing an argument or giving them reason to come back and argue with you. So keeping yourself composed, even though inside you might be raging. I feel like just trying to stay calm, because if they can see that you're not coming back angry, they should hopefully not come back at you with another thing on top of what you're probably already dealing with, because that tends to happen, especially if they're not holding themselves accountable for their own actions or reactions. They can still come back fighting or trying to, even, I feel like, goad you on to kind of come back and fight with them, because that's what they're used to, that pattern of repeating. um, they'll be probably quite shocked, especially if you used to fight back, but now you're learning keeping the peace is a lot better way to deal with it. That might anger them a little bit more, because they're going to notice that you're actually not being affected by their inner demons anymore. So be aware of that as well. Um, if you can, if you're feeling quite emotional over this period of like 23 days that's coming up, if things do come up and you can't actually speak to some people about that and they're very angry, or you can't approach them, I want to say maybe get a little journal. It doesn't have to be pen to paper, as in, like, you know, if you want to keep it private, have a little notepad on your phone maybe and save it privately. Just an idea really just for you, so that you can get it off your shoulders, get it out into the universe, out into the open, and kind of be processing it in a healthy way. Because just by doing that, you are actually looking at it, you're writing it down, or um, you're just kind of getting that emotion out of yourself. Because you can write literally anything that you want, nobody else needs to see it. But as long as that's, you know, dealing with everything that's inside of you and it's coming out, then that's what you're aiming for, is to try and make sure that you can be um, healthily cleansed from the inside as well. Do you know what I mean? Making sure that anything that really is annoying you um, isn't kind of making you ill or festering, is what I want to say. And because if that is happening to you, I want to say that also it can make you feel poorly. It can manifest in different parts of your body. You know, if you're carrying too much responsibility, it could be like your back and your shoulders might be hurting a lot. So be aware of that and try and release that energy if you can, in some way, shape, or form. If you can't journal, maybe go and do something where you can release the energy in another type of way. Go for a walk in the park, in nature, by the water, go dancing. Use your energy in a different way, and allow your body to kind of relax, I feel, is what I want to say. So if you're sitting in an environment where you're feeling unsafe, or almost like, as well, like some of you might be in a place where perhaps you're moving home or thinking about moving home, or you're being forced to move or change something, that will be making you feel a little bit ungrounded, because it's like, where am I going next? What am I going to do? Haven't got everything in place. Loads of things will be going on in your mind. So I want to say, just try to make sure that you're keeping yourself calm in between everything else that's going on. So, like with the journaling, going for a walk, whatever, speaking to good friends, even going out, enjoying yourself, doing the things that you love, listening to music as well would be a really good one. Next thing with the retrograde is, I want to say, double check all your plans and messages. So like if you're planning on making a trip or going somewhere, booking train tickets, that kind of thing, double check, triple check everything, because technology, communication could really flip out. You know, you might even see like things like the internet going down, or even like the payment things in shops. I think actually that might have been happening just recently, kind of in the shadow of the retrograde coming, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you've been having problems with technology and things like that, you could well see that that could be an ongoing thing over the next 23 days. Um, and I just want to say, just try and be patient with it. Go back to it, take a break. Sometimes as well, things like that may happen for a reason, as in maybe you're not meant to travel today. Maybe, you need to book the tickets for another weekend or something like that. The universe will always, it works in mysterious ways, but it will always put you in the exact place at the exact moment that you should be there. And sometimes it can feel annoying when things don't work out how you want them to work out. When you're not actually in, I want to say, in full control, because I think that's what we like to do, is be in control of everything. But we're actually not. And I think the more you learn actually to let go of control and allow the universe to flow and bring to you what you need, and then just take that as it comes, and try not to hold on to things too much, or create your own I want to say story. I think it works a lot better. It can feel a lot easier, if that makes sense. But it takes a lot to kind of master that. And I want to say master, I don't think any of us really truly master it, especially not in this world, because there's so many distractions with like the TV, our phones, the people. Even as I'm doing this, I'm aware it's quite warm, so the window's open and there's traffic. Like the noise of the world. And I like to work more during the evenings when the world's going to sleep. I find that is such, for me, a great time to be focusing more on, if I want to learn something, or even like communicate with other people, doing readings, that sort of thing. Evenings is so much better. It's just nice and calm and peaceful, and you've got less distraction, and you can completely 100% focus on what you're doing, because I feel like nowadays everyone's so accessible. I remember the days when you could go on holiday and actually be on holiday. You didn't have a phone in your pocket, you weren't contactable 24/7. You could actually relax and rest and not check your work emails, or not have to check in with people all the time. You could actually just disappear for a while, and I feel like that's what a lot of us need. So trying to find your safe space where you can just close the windows, close the doors, be quiet, turn your phone off, and enjoy a relaxing hour or two will really help you as well, especially during like this retrograde period, because like I said, you're probably going to have a lot of things that are here to kind of change and shift your life and things that have been going on in it moving forward. And what you don't want to do is kind of resist too much against that, but you also want to feel grounded, and you want to feel comfortable, and you want to feel safe, and you want to feel peaceful if you can, or as peaceful as you can. I feel like have a look at maybe old projects as well. If you're feeling like you start things and you never finish them, now would be a good time to maybe focus on that. Look back and plow into some of those. Look at what didn't work in the past and see what you can do now. Like, being further forward, there could be a change in your circumstances now where you can actually, oh yeah, I can do that now because this has changed. So look at what's shifted already in your favour, and see what you can do, looking back on maybe other things that you've kind of dropped and left in the past, because not everything will stay in the past. There maybe are some things that you could revisit. So definitely think about that. I feel like as well, I just want to say, if you're networking or you're like a public speaking person, be quite wary around this period as well about what you're putting out or what you're speaking about or how you're saying it, because again, you could find I'm actually, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking I'm going to put this video out soon. Is it going to get negative feedback? But then saying that, I don't want to manifest the negative feedback, because my intention with this is for it to reach all the people that it needs to, that needs to understand about this little stretch of time that we're in at the moment, where things are shifting and things might feel like a little bit of upheaval, just to give you a tool really to help you and assist you not to get so angry, and get more into the flow of the universe, because when you're more into the flow, it will help you to be more in alignment with who you are, and it will help you to be more aligned with, like, I want to say, abundance, and bringing towards you exactly what you need. And when I say abundance, it doesn't necessarily mean like loads of money. It could mean like anything from the universe. It could bring you anything in just to make your life that little bit easier, that little bit better, or even a whole lot better, you know? You just have to believe really that that's what's going to happen, and set the intention. So every morning, especially during this period, get up and put the intention forward straight away before any of the distractions come in, and say to the universe, I'm open today to have a wonderful day. Whatever I need is going to come in as easy as possible, and I know that you're going to assist me. And even if I see that something, or believe that something is difficult, you're going to show me exactly how to make that easier, to see it in an easier way, to learn how to deal with it in a better way, how to process it in a healthier way. And we'll do this together. That sounds quite long-winded, but you can make your own short version. You know, today's going to be a brilliant day. Whatever you bring in, we're going to make it brilliant. We're going to work towards it together. You and me, the universe, we're going to work in harmony. And I feel like I just want to kind of say before I finish off, some of you might also be feeling as though you don't know who you are, and it's like an identity crisis. And I just want to say, if this is you, you could well be starting a spiritual awakening, or you might be a little bit into one that you're not fully aware of. If things are starting to drop away from you, if things are starting to feel like they're being removed, or you're trying to hold on to stuff in it, or trying to make things work and it's not working for you, that could well be an awakening for you. If you feel like you might be depressed, or you might not like the things that you used to like, you fell out of love with them, and you just don't even know where your place is in the world anymore, that's definite signs of a spiritual awakening. So if this is you, I can do you a reading on that, if you're interested, so do contact me. Or I do often do readings that are very short and to the point, at the Kino Lounge in Kettering. The next one I'm in the process of sorting out. I will put details on my page, so if you just would like a 15-20 minute reading that kind of gets to the point of where you might need to be putting your focus, or figuring out where your blocks are, do pop along and see me at one of those, because they're such fun. They're lovely evenings, lots of people come along, and lots of people actually return as well. I see a lot of familiar faces, so that tells me that what I'm doing is the right thing. I know my purpose, and what I'm doing is passing on the information and hopefully assisting anyone else who's maybe struggling with life, struggling with a spiritual awakening, giving you the tools and the tips that you might need to move forward. So the Kino Lounge one is discounted as well. So they're usually £8 for 15-20 minute reading. And like I said, sometimes that's all somebody needs, just to kind of set the reset button and figure out, yeah, let's go down this road now. I know where I'm headed. I've got a few ideas how I can move forward. Other people like to have like a full reading. That's £40, and that's for 1 to 2 hours. Depending on what your guidance is, I always say leave a couple of hours free. I don't like to rush through things. I read the cards. I also use intuitive guidance. I take notes before you even come for some of you. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, definitely give me a shout and I'll let you know my availability. And that said, I am going to be doing some other pop-up tarots. I'm looking at other venues as well, so keep your eyes on my page for that. Before I pop off, I'm just going to shuffle the tarot, and I want to say thank you to everyone as well who's listened in, especially right to the end, because it's quite a long video. And I want to say thank you for just being here and listening in. I hope you found some of this helpful. Be mindful, like I said, just keep reminding yourself of the period we're in at the moment, especially if things start to get a little bit frantic for you, or you know, you feel like you're getting anxious or angry or upset, or you feel like things are against you or people are coming against you or whatever. So right, I've got 2 cards that I felt drawn to pull in for you before I go. Page of Cups is your first one, and let's just see what your second one is. 6 of Swords. Sorry about the light there. There you go. So very similar colours on this one as well. Sort of a yellowish background there. So by your intuition, I feel like what I want to say is just make sure you're not allowing too many people around you who are not good for you, who are not really giving enough to you in any situation. Could be a co-worker, could be a partner. It feels as though they're just, what they're offering isn't a lot. You see that fish in the cup? So although this is a page, I feel like it could be anyone really. I want to say male or female. We've all got masculine and feminine energy, okay? So if this resonates with you, if there's someone around you who's a little bit like this, I want to say be wary, because it feels as though this person is unawakened, okay? And because of that, they'll be bringing all of their emotions with them to any situation, because they haven't processed, you know, kind of what's making them feel like. Swords are like very heavy emotions, negativity, okay? There's a lot inside of them they haven't processed, like the trauma, and they're just bringing the whole lot along with them. And it does feel as though, like, for a lot of people who are watching, you'll resonate with this. There will be somebody around you who's been like this in your energy, might still be in your energy now, or it could be like a past thing, just reminding you these are the kind of people who we kind of want to step back from, and we don't want to spend too much time around these people, because we need to allow them to just work through things in their own time. But what we also need to do is make sure that we are learning to know our own worth, to not try and fix these people, to not let them push us into arguments or push us into even lack. I feel like, you know, thinking you haven't got a lot, because I do feel like a lot of people who are tuned in watching this have an awful lot and are worth more than they think they are as well. So if anyone has kind of pulled you into that dark space where you feel like you're not worth anything and you never will be, or they've made you feel less than, I'm here to remind you You're your own person. Why are you listening to what everyone else is telling you? Why are you taking that personally? Especially during this period as well. We all need to love ourselves so much more. So pouring back the love to yourself is what's really, really important. Um, as we go forward towards the 23rd of July, when everything should hopefully have shifted for a lot of us. And I feel like we'll feel a lot lighter by then. But like I said, just go easy on yourself. Take a break. Take some time out if you can. Give yourself plenty of space to like reconnect with you. Even, you know, don't let other people push you to your limits. Make sure that you are giving yourself as much time as you can to rest, recover, rejuvenate, heal your own soul. Put yourself first. Difficult for a lot of people, I know, myself included. I'm not exempt from all of this. But yeah, do take care, and do comment or do get in touch with me if you feel like you want to have a little chat, or if there's anything, you know, that you're feeling you don't have an answer to or whatever. I'll try and help you as best as I can. If you're a little bit stuck with things at the moment, or like I said, going through an awakening. A lot of people that sit in front of me now tend to be people who are just starting to awaken or just getting the signs, trying to navigate that. So if I can assist you with that, I'll do my best. So take care, have a lovely rest of the day or evening, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Lots of love.